Hello, good evening. My name is Sandra Jennings, and you are tuning into PassionSpeak, where we give those with a passionate platform to speak. I have a special guest tonight. With me is Leslie King Friday. Hello, Leslie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Leslie is speaking to us about human trafficking of all nature. She is an author, a speaker. She has just written her first book, right, Leslie?
Yes.
Your first book, When Angels Fight. It's talking about her journey in sex trafficking and all about it. She's going to talk to us all about it. Um, how's your day been today, Leslie?
Very busy, very busy.
Very busy. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm just, I get it though. Um, I want to, let me just say before I ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, maybe we'll go there first. Tell us, take a couple of minutes, and where you from, and where'd you grow up?
I was born here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay. All right. So, did you ever live anywhere else?
Well, yeah. Yep, I lived in Detroit. I lived in many states because I was trafficked at the age of 15.
Okay,
So,
but when
yeah.
you're and we're going to talk about what that means, because I need clarification as
Okay.
well. But are you suggesting that your journey of trafficking started in Grand Rapids?
Yes, it did.
Okay, all right. So before we go into any further, I want to I want to show a video. I want to show a video that's on your website that it talks about learning the signs, and it's just a small clip, but it'll help usher us into maybe the definition and how we can identify when a person or human is being trafficked or is a violator, I guess. Either way, you're going to educate us. So this clip is called Learn the Signs, and it's a very short clip, but I want to play it because it's nicely done.
Do you know what human trafficking looks like? It starts with someone like me, a family friend, a neighbor, or an online acquaintance, gaining your child's trust, taking them out to eat, to get their nails done, becoming their best friend. And just like that, they could be gone. I know because for over 20 years of my life, I lived it. Human trafficking is not only happening in large cities. Learn the signs and join us in the fight to stop human trafficking. Go to svtp.org for more information.
Okay, so that is your website, and that's a video, an educational video. So please tell us the story of how you first got trafficked yourself, and then I have some many follow up questions.
Um, it all, I tell people the reality of it is that a victim is born and made every day. I come from a dysfunctional family. Father, a chronic alcoholic, mother, a chronic workaholic. I was the oldest of three. Um, Always an outsider looking in. So, and at the age of 8, a relative moved in and he proceeded to molest me and said if I say anything, my father would kill my mother. God, remember, I was only 8 years old and he was already beating my mother to death. Um, so I held on to that secret. Um, Father went to prison. I mean, as I'm growing up, I'm getting angry. Um, I had issues that I didn't even know were issues. So I'm running away from home. I don't know where I was running to, what I was running from. All I know is I needed to run, not really understanding that everywhere I went, there I am. At the age of 15, a man approached me. Um, I had no reason to be afraid. He took me out to eat, asked me a bunch of questions about myself, my family. And what he was really doing was mapping it out. He was just mapping it out. And today they call that grooming. It's not grooming, it's called game. He took me back to my relative's house, and he would come pick me up every day, take me out to eat, buy me new clothes, tell me how much he loved me, telling me how no one would ever hurt me again. He took everything I told him and he twisted it. He mentally twisted it to the point where I would turn against my mom and my family, and they were the enemy, and that's how he was able to get me. One day after the bar closed, we went to his friend's house like we usually do. I had no reason to feel alarmed.
Back up real quick. You were 15, right?
I was 15.
And how was he at the time?
Oh my God. I can't remember.
Much older?
He was much older than I was. Way older than I was.
Okay.
So we went to his friend's house after the bar closed. And to me, that wasn't unusual because we did that a lot. But this time, when I came to, his friend was on top of me having sex with me any way he wanted to. You know, the man who told me he loved me, no one ever hurt me. I'm looking and I'm crying. And he looked at me and he looked like the devil himself. He called me the B word and said I better get his money. When it was over, he just grabbed my hair, threw me in a car, took me to a house off of Division. And in that house were other women, which is called the stable because he had other women working for him. I was just the youngest. There was another lady in there, a little older, and she was called she's a bottom. She's the one under the pimp who makes sure the women have all their money, make sure they're dressed, and make sure they're on the corners. My life went like that for 20 years. Wow. Until July 4th of 2000, when I just couldn't. I was so mentally, emotionally, and spiritually bankrupt till all I wanted to do was go to sleep, never wake up, and the pain would be gone. July 4th, when I tried to commit suicide, see, I didn't believe in God because to me, if there was a God, why me? Why me? I thought God loved the little children. Well, God didn't love Leslie, and that was my thinking. But July 4th, when I tried to commit suicide, with the last breath that I had, I remember screaming, if there's a God in heaven, if you will help me. It's hard for me to tell people what I felt, but it's similar to the hug that I never received as a child. I finally got. I called my mom. She came and got me. I put myself into a detox drug treatment, and I just, with everything I had, I fought to find out who is Leslie and learn how to love me. And I had to forgive those who hurt me in order for me to heal. That wasn't easy, but I did it. I had to set myself free.
So back up, talk with me for a minute about the 20 years, that the time that you had when you were, for lack of a better word, in captivity. You were emotionally captive, and that kept you physically captive. I'm going to ask you the question that a lot of people ask, and it's straight out of ignorance, because a lot of people ask that, like, why didn't you just walk away?
You can't walk away.
Why not?
When you got a pimp, he instills so much fear that if you walk away, like I was told, if I run, if I tell the police, he's going to kill my mother, my brother, my sister. And I had a child at 15, and he's going to kill my child and cut me up. And they'll never find me. If they did, he was going to spread my body parts around the state of Michigan. And I seen what he could do. So I'm not going anywhere.
Do people ask that question often?
Yeah, they do. They ask me that often, and it gets to the point where it's funny. Um, because when you're dealing with a gorilla pimp, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. If you do, you better not never show your face again. And pimps know each other across the states. A person can run and say leave Michigan and go to Colorado. Guarantee a pimp in Colorado gonna know your pimp here, and he's going to bring you back.
Hmm. That's traumatizing. Even that's just traumatizing.
Very.
So basically, what I'm hearing from you is you're saying the only thing that freed you was your I mean, suicide was no fear for you. That was that the only thing that feared you? We know that freed you, excuse me. We know that God played a part
Mm-hmm.
beside that. Did God use the fear of or the presence of a suicide or death to free you?
Well, when it came to my pimp, I had a son by him. You know, you fall in love with your captor.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, the mind is powerful. The mind is very powerful.
Hmm.
And you can get in any traumatizing situation, and your mind will do whatever it needs to do to protect you in any situation you're in. When my pimp finally went to prison for uh probation violation of a firearm, I was able to get away from him, but I still continued in the life of prostitution. And everybody are like, they were like, well, Leslie, why did you continue? How can I do something different if I don't know how?
Hmm.
I was called so many names, and I was looked at as dope fiend, whore. I mean, a plethora of names. Um, and I start getting high because I didn't have to feel and I didn't have to think. Feeling and thinking for me was like getting sliced open with a razor. You know, they see these women out here on these drugs and all of this. And I always do trainings on cause and effect. You see the effect. What was the cause? No little girl wants to grow up to be sold and on drugs and homeless and beaten and raped and threw out of cars and held hostage. No little girl has that. We grow up dreaming of being Cinderella. I even want to be Cher. Please don't ask me why. But that's what it was. But my dreams were stolen from me. And I had daddy issues, mommy issues, abandonment issues, low self-esteem, no self-worth. See, I had all these issues, which made it possible for a pimp to move in and prey on my weaknesses that I didn't even know I had.
Do you think he watched you and studied you before he even contacted you? Do they do that? Is that a pattern?
You know, they just see broken teenagers, broken women, broken men too. Um, this is what they see, and it's like sharks. It's like they can smell it. So then they take you, they wine you, and they dine you, and they get your whole life story, which is traumatizing in itself. And they take that and they make themselves look like, that knight in shining armor. And the mind game is powerful, and they know how to play on that to isolate you from family members, to isolate you from everybody.
So isolation is a part of the game that they play.
Part of the game. Isolation is a part of the game. Yes, ma'am.
I want to show a video also from your website. This video is, and I'm not going to mute it. I'm going to let it play out with the volume. And later afterwards, we're going to talk about it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think I'll remove us and just listen to the video.
In with us. He'd take us to the store, buy us candy. My father was a chronic alcoholic who used to beat my mother for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One day my cousin moved in with us. He'd take us to the store, buy us candy, and he did that to gain my trust, only to start molesting me. I was only 8. They say God protects the little children. Well, if so, why he didn't protect me? God didn't love me and God wasn't real. So I'm raging and I'm angry. I start running away from home. It's like running towards the light, but you can never reach that light. The man pulled up to me, asked me what's wrong. He presented very well. He started taking me to the bars, buying me things. He started telling me he loved me and see, I never heard the word love. Then one day, we went to his friend's house. When I came to, his friend was on top of me having sex with me any way he wanted to. The one who said no one will ever hurt me, who said he loved me. He said to me, bitch, get my money. I was only 15. But my life as I knew it then was over. I was taken to a house where there were other women, and that's called a stable. And I was told, if you run, if you go tell the police, I'm killing your mama, your son, your brother, and your sister. I was trained like a child soldier, and I turned my first trick at 15. My life went on like that for over 20 years. Who's gonna come looking for me? Women like me from the streets. If Johns don't kill us, pimps don't kill us, or we don't die of overdose, we kill ourselves. I tried to commit suicide. As I was dying, I said, if there's a God in heaven, if you real, help me, man, help me. Something hugged me so tight. The hug I never received, I got. And that's when I put myself in rehab. I had to learn how to forgive those who hurt me. My cousin, my dad, I haven't forgiven my pimp. I had to forgive everyone in order to set myself free. And I did. I knew the fight was on. I want people to know when they go to sleep at night, evil rears its ugly head. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It has no gender and it has no time. Some angels were called to pray. Some of us were called to fight. I'm a street fighter. I go back into the dark and bring others out. It's an evil that must be fought, and I can't fight it alone. These women need you. These children and men need you. And we'll win. We'll win.
That was pretty powerful, Leslie. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
That was pretty powerful. So that is basically your story. At the end, it said you have helped over 600 women.
That was just the number that, because I didn't have all my data when they came with that, because it was like walking through so much trauma. But my board and I, we got all our numbers together, and we've helped way over 25, 23, way over 2,300 women.
How old is your organization?
I founded this organization in 2003, but I solidified it in 2005.
So how, I have a lot of questions. How do the women or men or whomever for that matter, they know they need help. How do they come to you? I mean, there's the fear of loss. Like they could have retaliation. They could have their lives, taken from them, or the life of loved ones. I mean, how can they come to you, and do you have help for them?
Yes. I've been doing street outreach. When I say street outreach, I mean street outreach, where I'm boots to the ground. I'm literally out of my truck and walking around. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows me. And me and my team, which my team consists of women who's been through my program, and they've been clean for a plethora of years and really worked on themselves. And we've hired several of them. And my outreach team is made up of survivors. Excuse me. And we go live on Facebook. We go Facebook Live. We don't show the women's faces, but people actually see us boots to the ground. And we meet them right where they are. A lot of people, aren't you afraid? My thing is, God was going to let me die, I would have died out on them streets. I'm a firm believer that I went through everything that I went through in order to go back. God allowed me to go through that and to go back into the night and bring these women out.
That's kind of what I was struggling with a little bit, because I don't want to out you. I don't want to ask the wrong question and out you and put your organization in jeopardy. But I do know that when someone wants to get out, that their culprit, their pimp, the people who are exploiting them cannot stop them. When you really want out, nobody can stop you. You can get out. They can't. They can probably hurt you, but I need some correct thinking on that.
Well, if this is how I see this, especially with all of the what all of the hoopla around, trafficking now, all of the awareness. I mean, when it comes to pimp, it's easier to let them go and go after another one than it is to try to come after someone and wind up getting themselves caught. Back in the day, no one would dare run, because it was just like pimps everywhere through all states, and they know each other, and they'll bring you back. Now, if they catch you, they probably beat them real bad. But like I said, they're risking going to prison for the rest of their lives. So it's easier for them to let them go than it is for them to come after them. So they'll let the women go and find someone else.
Okay, so we've conquered the hurdle of have some courage. Yes, you might meet in a dark alley one night if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, but have some courage to get out. If you have some courage to get out, Leslie and her organization will be there to hug you and to help you and connect you with resources. Is that right?
You're correct. And along with the drop-in center, I have, my organization, we have 2 homes. So when the women are ready, we'll get them into drug treatment. They'll when they leave drug treatment, then they can come to one of the homes, which is a very structured program.
What do they do about money? Like, I'm out there, I'm risking, I gotta leave my pimp, I'm risking leaving. But if I'm not able to support myself, am I looking at having to go back to him? Because at least I didn't live on the street when I was with him, right?
Correct. Now, when you come into our program, we have 2 beautiful homes. There's food. The homes are beautiful, beautiful rooms. And there's programming that they must do. I mean, they have to go through trauma counseling, which is the first thing. And because of God's grace with these donors, the lights ain't gonna get shut off. The heat ain't gonna get shut off. Cable phone ain't gonna get shut off.
Mm-hmm.
And we work with them and we ease them back into society. Like I said, it's a process for some and a longer process for others. We meet each woman individually where they are. And when they reach a certain level, they get a part-time job. Now, when it comes to the job, we want to figure out what it is that they like to do. People say, well, there's McDonald's, they're paying $15 an hour. I know for myself, I'm not going to go flip no burger for $15 an hour when what Burger King going to give me in a week, I can make in a day. This is the mentality. So we try to break that mentality and find out what it is that they like. They don't know what they like because they've been programmed to do other things. So we deprogram and reprogram. But once we find out what it is that they like to do, we nurture that and we ease them into that. And then it becomes their passion. And once it's their passion, it's not a job.
What is the average time from getting off the street to maybe considering a part-time job or re-entering the workforce in a different way? What's the average span? Would it be months and months, or years? What is someone looking to, time investment wise?
Like I said, it all depends. It all depends on the individual. We have some women that we've been working with for years. Trauma is so deep. And mind you, a lot of the women been pimped out by their own mothers and their own fathers. A lot of women, families are cults. So, the list goes on and it's so dark. So as far as time, you can't put no time on healing. Because I've been out of life now for 21 years and I'm still healing in areas. And I'll forever be healing.
What is the age of the oldest person that you've embraced off the streets who wants to get free?
60.
Really?
Yeah. And mind you, she's been working them streets ever since she was 12.
Whew.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the pleasure of watching her heal.
Man, joy. Yes. It's like roses growing out of bricks. Yes. Yes.
Good. We don't have all night, and yes, you probably have things on your clock that you want to do and get to. But I've enjoyed talking to you. What more do you want to implant in us? We only scratched the surface.
I want to implant in you guys empathy. When you see them out on the streets and they look strung out, dirty, whatever, I want you to remember that that's somebody's daughter. That's somebody's mother, sister. That's somebody's child. And it could be yours. Nobody is immune. Nobody is immune, especially with this internet mess going on. Nobody's immune. So have this empathy. And you know what? When you ride past them, just give them a smile. If you can't do nothing else, but just give them a smile. That smile will be forever ingrained in them.
Mm, that's amazing. We have a comment here. Gabriel, I'll show you. Gabriel says, so much to learn here. We need a constant collaboration between you two and the willing to testimony. Well, yeah, I think that yes, Gabriel, I think I definitely think Leslie gives her testimony on a daily basis. But if you, yeah, we got to, Leslie, this cannot be the end of this conversation because it's
No, it
too
can't.
important. We have another comment. Renita says, thanks, ladies. Thanks for watching, both Renita and Gabriel. We appreciate you, and for the others who caught us this evening. So if people want to help, whether they want to give monetarily or whether they want to be a foot soldier with you, or whether they, they want to come volunteer in your office and answer phones, they can contact you through your website, sbtp.org, and it's scrolling there on the bottom of the screen. And you're open for grants. If anyone sees you and they know of a grant that you can use, yes, you're looking for all kinds of funds, all kinds, whether it's to keep the lights on, whether it's to clothe women, whether it's to help women or men get back into the workforce, whether it's to help fund a therapist. I don't know, the many expenses that you might use. You are open. And we have another comment here. Kathy, great discussion. Wow. Thank you, Kathy. Thanks for watching. So anyone who's interested can find you through your website. I appreciate you. I'm not sure, the least we can do is come on live and do updates.
Yes,
Definitely, that's the least we can do with updates, and you can bring good news. Doesn't matter if the victim is 7 years old or 60 years old or older. As long as we are delivering hope, and you're an angel who fights. So I'm thinking you're delivering hope.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks for your time so much, Leslie. Yeah, this is a conversation that definitely has to continue. My guest has been Leslie King from Sacred Beginnings at sbtp.org. And you can find her on social media as well. And my name is Sandra Jennings, and you have been watching PassionSpeak. If it's your first time tuning in, thank you. This is where we give those with a passion a platform to speak. And Leslie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Blessings. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Thank you.